but we continue with this special table, Europe at 70. Who will be presenting is Martí Grau, the head of service at the Jean Monnet House of the European Parliament, and Debora Righetti, communications and events officer at the Jean Monnet House as well. And well, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Uriol. First of all, I would like to say that on behalf of the House of European History and the Jean Monnet House, that we are very, very happy to be co-organizing this event with the European Observatory of Memories, and of course to have also the opportunity to exchange with the European Commission, with all the partners, with all the associations and organizations that are involved in this interesting forum. I meant to start with a justification as to why we included a panel or a short discussion on the Schuman Declaration. But after listening to the projects that have been presented beforehand, I realized that actually there's less need of a justification. I was really impressed by the presentation from Smashing Times on the women at the first European Parliament, and Migrate also, they showed us how there is also a memory of the organization of the humanitarian effort. And this is precisely what helps us to introduce our topic today. It's the Schuman Declaration. What is the Schuman Declaration? Well, the Schuman Declaration is the first text, the founding text of the European communities, the founding text of European unity, we could say. And one of the central words of this text that has not been repeated in subsequent text of the development of the European communities was precisely solidarity. And that is a word that has been repeated also today. So one of the questions that we had in mind when preparing this presentation was like, is a memory of solidarity possible at all? We believe that it is, and I think our colleagues today also in presenting the projects have proven that. Schuman Declaration was written in Ujaré, that's the location of the Jean Monnet House. It's a house owned by the European Parliament. It was actually the first building owned by the European Parliament already in the 80s. And it was where Jean Monnet drafted with several collaborators the Schuman Declaration that Schuman would announce to the world in 1950, exactly 70 years ago, to pave the way to the first European community, the coal and steel community. So what we intend to show is that European unity and the memories of European unity is not only about men in gray suits and behind desks and like boring storytelling, but precisely because European unity is connected to link to wider causes, universal causes such as peace, reconciliation, relief after war. It accounts also for a very colorful storytelling and for memories that are very rich and compelling. So we, of course, because of COVID, we didn't have the opportunity to commemorate as we would have liked. But my colleague, Debora Righetti, will now introduce you to some of the actions, quite a few, that we managed to do mostly online with our partners and notably also with the European Observatory for Memories. So I just pass the floor to my colleague, Debora, and we're going to try to keep it nice and short. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Martí, and thank you to Aram. So I will share my presentation with you. So, okay. Can you see my presentation? Yes? Okay. Today I will present the experience of the Jean Monnet House Service in carrying out its awareness, dissemination, and learning activities during the lockdown, in particular in this important year during which we commemorate the 70th anniversary of the Schuman Declaration. So the lockdown strongly hit cultural organizations like ours, whose primary function is to welcome and gather people. The image you can see was the cover of our Facebook page. As you can see, we have written closed but active. Our wish was to continue to exercise our missions by keeping the contact with our audience, and a more evident and widespread solution was to develop online activities. Therefore, we shifted our three main activities, memory, education, and information, on the social networks through different campaigns. The objectives was twofold: to keep in contact with our visitors and to keep in contact with our partners by seizing the opportunity to reinforce international collaborations. So to turn, in a certain sense, crisis into possibility. Here you can see some examples of our online campaigns. So we have online campaigns for called Conseil Lecture Europe, extracts from EU founding text, and the 100 books on Europe to remember. We have materials also for schools, and for pupils, for teachers, news about the evolution of the COVID situation and the answer of the at the European level, and different projects with partners and online exhibitions. So here you can see some examples of our posts. Okay. So what about our main yearly event, Europe Day? Europe Day. The commemoration took place on the internet. So unfortunately, as Martí said before, we have to shift our activities online. So unfortunately, the yearly open day of European institutions wasn't possible, nor celebration considering the difficult times. So this year, the 9th May marked the 70th anniversary of the Schuman Declaration, which set European integration in motion. So more than ever, commemoration this year acquired a relevant meaning for inspiring reflections on our shared present. So as you can see, from the visual chosen for the online event by the European Parliament, the fil rouge between the 9th May of 70 years ago and the 9th May of 2020 was solidarity. So solidarity, the pillar of the European project, that nevertheless, 70 years after the birth of a European Union cannot be taken as granted, and the management of the sanitary and economic crisis caused by the pandemic brings this to light. In this context, So in this context, it seemed important to us to gather not only with the other European institutions, but also with the other houses of founding fathers to send a solidarity message. So for Europe Day, we conceived our first communication action with the Maison Robert Schuman, the Adenauer House, and the Casa Alcide De Gasperi. So our common message was intended to be a single speech constructed jointly through the words of the four founding fathers and communicating hope, the need and the courage to take action in crisis times, following the examples of the founding fathers, to finally build solidarity, which can be seen firstly as a necessity for communities sharing the same context and circumstances. So also the physical exhibition on the 70th anniversary of the Schuman Declaration, conceived and realized by the archives of the European Parliament, and that we were supposed to host physically at the Monnet House, will be proposed on a digital version on Europeana, and will include in our joint post. This encouraged continuing our collaboration, making available to our national audiences the history and work of the other architects of the European Union. So, for our second joint action to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the Schuman Declaration and the first steps towards integration, through a series of short films, we will propose to virtually travel to other iconic European sites to discover the collections of other houses, of the houses of the other founding fathers. So our project, A Common Dream of Peace, comes to light. Here you can see some two examples of the objects that will be presented. So these video clips will be published during Christmas holidays. So I invite you to follow this project on our social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find this project, A Common Dream of Peace, and all the other activities we will develop in next months. Thank you.
Just before we close the presentation, I wanted to add that earlier this year, before the COVID pandemic, the presidents of the three European institutions had the opportunity to have a retreat at the Jean Monnet House right before the declaration they issued on the 31st of January on Brexit and on the future of Europe. So that shows that the Jean Monnet House has become also a venue for all institutions, but also for all organizations. So we would be more than happy to that you consider also this place as your own home, as your own place for your own activities, and the door will be always open. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Martí and Debora, for your presentation. It's really a beautiful place, the Jean Monnet House. We had the chance to meet there last year for the Taking Stock, the second edition, and I completely agree. I invite all the attendees to visit your facilities whenever possible. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation.